Hi, Richard Moore here from 8 Step Startup. Hope you're having a great morning. Just got out of the gym here. It's about 6 o'clock and it's been an early start. I wanted to bring up a question that was asked, I was asked last night actually by one of my mentees, and it relates to being ready to go to market. So the thing is, especially when you're starting out with a business, you find that there's this slightly precious edge that you might have, a case of, well, I want to just polish my product a bit more, I'm not quite sure I'm ready to release it yet. And of course we've heard all of these quotes and things, the likes of Reid Hoffman of LinkedIn wisely saying, if you're not embarrassed when you release your product, you waited too long, and so on. And when I was asked, how far out am I? What do I need to do to be in a position to release my product? The question you should really ask yourself is, what do the steps look like? Are they big or are they small in order to get to where I want to be? So just to explain this, if you're not familiar with the term MVP, the minimum viable product is what you should at the beginning be starting to focus on building. So a minimum viable product is something where if a customer called you or contacted you literally right now, do you have absolutely the fundamental or bare bones parts of your product or service in place that you could transact and sell them, this thing you're selling? That includes being able to have, for instance, the mechanism to receive payment. So do you have a PayPal account set up? Do you have an order form if it's necessary? Do you have, some kind of follow-up in place with them for, how to use the product or something like that? So the question you've got to ask yourself is, how many steps, or possibly is how many steps have I got to go to build the MVP and be ready to sell? But more specifically, you need to look at what kind of steps there are. So a good test of how far out you are in terms of being ready to sell is looking at if you had 5 steps, if you had to write in 5 steps what you needed to do to be ready to go to market, and you examine what those steps look like. So for instance, if my 5 steps to go to market, where step 1 to step 5 will actually get me there, if they include things like I have to build a website, I have to manufacture the product, or I have to, if it's a course like 8 Step Starter, I have to record all the videos or something like that. If they are big steps, then that's something quite different to things like, oh, I just need to update a logo, I need to tweak the email address, I need to, add my email to the PayPal account. They are, minuscule, trivial steps. And basically, the smaller the steps, the more trivial they are to be in a position where you're ready to actually sell. That means the more ready you are to sell. And you got to draw a line when it comes to the little tiny things like want to update my my logo, or I don't quite think the Facebook profile picture's right. You know what? You're ready to sell. You need to get on with it, and that kind of stuff can come a bit later on. Obviously, things like I need to build a website. Well, you're clearly quite far off. So it's a good test to really see if you're holding back, and to really see if you're procrastinating a little more than you need to be. If you find that, the best thing to do is test yourself, but also get someone else to examine those points, and you say to them, look, does this feel like these are trivial things? And if the answer is yes, I could totally sell my product. It would be a bit embarrassing. It wouldn't quite look as slick as I'd want it to, but it would work and it would sell, it would transact and they could buy it. You've got to get on with it, and then you've got to just stop thinking and pull, press the button on it basically. So I hope that helps. It's a really good test just to see really where you are. So try it out, 5 steps, and write down actually what would need to happen. If they're broad steps, you're a little bit further out, fine, you've got a bit more time. But if they're smaller, trivial things, just get on with it and start selling. Because as Peter Tufano told me, he's the Dean of Said Business School. That's the business school attached to Oxford University, a 800-year-old university here in the UK. He said, you got to understand that cash is king. And if you combine that with the Chief Technology Officer of BT, or the previous Chief Technology Officer of BT, Peter Cochrane, he said you've got to focus on that first $1 in building a business. You know, you want to go higher up, the likes of Warren Buffett, he said, you know, the primary function of a business is to get a customer, not profit even, just to get a customer. So that's what your primary function is. Get your MVP ready and get it out there, but you need to do this test to see how far out you are. I mean, it may well be you realise you're a little bit of a procrastinator at this stage, and you're getting a bit nervous, and it's understandable because you don't know how people are going to react. But best thing to do is jump in and get on with it, especially if you've got very trivial little things remaining to do. Hope that helps. Have a great day. Speak to you soon.